want to now speak on and touch on W's that we've been coming across. And one of them just so happens to be West London's very own Clint, the owner of Corteiz.
There was a Navy van that we all ran past. The windows were black, innit? The tinted windows. He was probably in there with all of the teeth. That's why it keeps moving.
Hey, relax. Hey, get onto our crew. Get onto our crew. Get onto our crew.
I took off my shoes. I don't know where my stuff is. I left it all in Soho. Who's the fucking world, cunt?
What's your message to Clint right now?
Clint, stop playing games, rule the fucking world. You got rebels out here ready to go nuts for that t-shirt, bro.
Got gorillas, man.
Gorillas, and we're ready, you get me?
This thing's done. Obviously, as you lot can tell, fucking no, Clint is for the fucking people, bro. Right now, Corteiz is really ruling the world. Seriously, if a man says it, a man's showing it too, so... Yeah, man, we're gonna see what I go on for the future still.
Say again, rule the world. Say again, rule the world. Say again, rule the world. Say again, rule the world.
So if you don't know who Clint is, or you've been living under a rock, where are you? Where have you been? He is the owner of the streetwear brand Corteiz, which has been going viral for their insane challenges, their insane drops. Anybody will do anything to pick up and cop one of their items.
They've been shaking up the industry by getting recognition from people like Drake and Virgil Abloh. They recently had a Batman-style logo on Nike in Oxford Street flagship store. And then for me, that was insane. I think it shook up the whole internet. I think it shook up the whole world in some senses, especially if you're into the fashion industry. They've really just been hitting the nail on the head as of recently, so good on them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy to think about because, you know, these guys are collaborating, but just only 2021, Nike literally sued Corteiz for literally using their name. And it's crazy that now life has just come full circle and now we're here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's mad. It's crazy. Like, I don't think this has happened for a while, or especially to this magnitude. Like, this man has such a chokehold over the UK.
Yeah.
Like, he will make, like, hundreds of thousands of young little people just run to these, like, random places to buy these clothes. Like, he's got such a chokehold over it that this collaboration is kind of crazy. And the things that are dropping, like, I know my friends in Devon, they're copying pieces. I'm like, huh?
Nuts. They're in the
He's basically going global. If you're going to Devon, you're going to global.
Well, you say that and he's in New York. So, I mean, he's hit a couple spots by now.
He's everywhere.
He's hit a couple spots by now. And I think he's shaking up the industry by getting... But I want to say recognition for his brand. Because by now, I feel like Clint as a person doesn't really care about fame. He knows that his brand speaks for him in volumes. If you go, I mean, people wear his brand religiously. He don't even have to wear it. You know, like that kind of mentality of thing. So he's really putting a stamp on the whole fashion industry, especially for streetwear.
Well, you guys both, have you guys both bought Corteiz?
I have, well, let's not give a review on the one thing I have right now.
She's got a hat.
I got a hat, yeah. Guys, I love the brand so much,
Nothing pops off.
I got a skull beanie and that is a skull beanie. Like, you literally have to be bold to wear that hat. It is just shocking, but love the brand, love you guys, love the shoes.
Yeah,
sponsor me.
Did you check out the shoes?
No, I didn't. I had them in the basket. Then started thinking, do I know how to wear Air Max 95s? And then I removed it out of the basket. Dami, don't say because I know you're gonna be disappointed in me. I know. I removed it out of the basket, refreshed the page after I changed my mind, and gone.
Dami, did you go for the shoes?
No, I didn't go for the shoes actually. Because I only saw one colorway at the time.
What was the colorways? Tell me.
It was like the camo, I'll say army colorway. But I just didn't feel like it was fully for me in it because I feel like they could have done more with the designs. Obviously, not taking anything away from what they've done. Obviously, it's huge and it's massive, but I feel like it should have been more expansive because looking back, I'll say in the fashion archives, whatever you want to call it, Heron Preston done a collaboration with Nike and it looks pretty much similar. All they pretty much done is just put their logo and a bit of their design language on it and it's pretty much the same thing. I wanted them to be more, I wanted them to explore, I'll say, their creative bag and literally do something like redesign a silhouette or maybe like go back to a silhouette that no one really knows about and then just bring it a new lease of life into it. And that would have literally spoke a lot more volumes and it would have made me want to buy the trainer more.
I was going to ask you, based on what you just said about them being able to, like, it would have been nice for them to change the silhouette, but do you think Nike would have allowed that? Do you think Nike would have given them that much creative freedom if they're just kind of giving them a slice?
I'll say that where it is with Nike, they already understand the value that Corteiz brings to their brand, which is why they've gone over to them, spoken to them, and they wanted to collaborate. So I feel like within those meetings, they could have been able to push for more if they really, really wanted to. Yeah. Because they're, at the end of the day, they're the ones offering Nike something. Do you get?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Even though
their brand, isn't it?
Yeah, like even though Nike's global, but at the same time, you wouldn't come to another brand for no reason, innit? You want to take something out of it.
They could definitely see the stamp that Corteiz has on everyone. You know, even from the Bolo exchange, the whole jacket thing, that whole jacket exchange thing was insane. Like, I remember wanting to go and then seeing the footage on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, there is no... Like, the whole world is out here to swap there. And you know what was interesting? People are giving away £300, £400, £500 jackets for a brand's jacket that I don't think cost more than £2, but because it was the brand. And that's the day that I noticed Clint's influence on the fashion industry. You know, the fact that people are out here giving what they have already for a piece of his clothing. They must think it's like one of a kind type of... You know, and that's the mentality he's put into people.
However... I do think like, because obviously the people who went to all these, the Bolo Exchange, the people who went to all of these things like the Crossbar Challenge, all of this, like they're his like hardcore fans,
of
right?
course.
He hasn't collaborated with anyone yet, and yet he's got this like dedicated, strong, like proper like fan base who will really support him. My thing I'm thinking of is, you know, you collaborate with Nike, you open up the doors now to the whole world. This brand is now exposed to the whole world. Does this then oversaturate the brand? Does this mean that everybody from left, right, up, down the street is all going to be wearing it? Are they, those ones who are also buying this Nike collab, going to be the ones going to like the Crossbar Challenge, the Bolo Exchange? Are we then going to actually start to see this brand just be now a brand now and lose the culture side of it?
I mean, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I feel like Clint, him be like me, just kind of even following Clint as an individual. He's very, one thing I want to say, he's very independent in his ideas and his like whole structure of Corteiz. And I think the reason why he knows this brand bangs is because it is a culture streetwear. It's for the people. So as much as we can see the collaborations with Nike and him expanding, I don't feel like he's going to lose that true essence of home. One of his like really hardcore friends and whatever lives in my area and wears his clothes like 24/9. He's literally on the website. Like, they're really good friends. And I think that whole essence of starting from home, the pictures they take of the clothing is literally in my block. Like, you know, to kind of give that essence of, it's not, because they could have gone to a studio, make it look like Louis Vuitton, make it look very fresh, clean. That's not the point. You know, when they're even doing the Bolo Exchange, you see how they're recording. People are literally standing in parks. You know, that's given a very earthy and like homey vibe to the brand. And I don't think he wants to lose that, because that's what's gotten him to where he is. So I'm hoping that it doesn't oversaturate his like market and he still has the loyal people that he has. But I do feel like with this exposure, he is definitely going to start, I don't know.
I'll definitely say that it will be easy for him to bridge that gap, because he's got examples, or the blueprint you could say, in Supreme, who've basically done the same model, and all he has to do is just literally see how they've done it and pretty much do the same thing, but just add a bit of his own style to it, and then you can pretty much bridge that gap really easily. The only thing, I don't know, I don't want to over-criticize in it, but I'll say what I'd want them to do is eventually become something like a fashion house. So it's a bit different. It's like a streetwear fashion house rather than just like pop-ups and running around and this, like, because at the end of the day, I'm getting older, they're not going to have the same fan base. Like,
that's true.
The people that were with them, let's say 5-10 years ago, aren't going to be the same people another 5-10 years later. So it's got to be a thing. I don't want to be like 32 running around. Do you get what I'm saying? Running on the street
for a jacket.
get
like,
a jacket. So
it's true.
I'll say with that, they need to literally be able to cater towards people as well that are also growing with the brand.
It's true.
In like that sense. So that's the only thing I'd say they need to work on.
That's very
but
true.
Other than that, it's pretty much calm now. They're doing the right thing.
And if just last quick question, if you feel like they need to kind of grow, like, I agree with you. I think they should kind of grow with the people who have stuck with them. If they don't do that, do you think they'll be continuously creating pieces for that age range? So then, do we now put their target audience in an age range? Because they're clearly not trying to advance with us. If you get what I'm trying to say, so we can now then put their fashion in an age. If they don't, obviously, I'm saying like I'm hoping they do, but if they don't, then I can now kind of put their fashion in an age range, because they're now, you know, like you're not gonna have 30-year-olds running around Hyde Park looking for a coat. Do you know what I mean? That's not happening. So really and truly, if you don't kind of then change that strategy or have different strategies, you're showing the kind of people what age range your clothing is for.
Yeah.
Which, the thing is, though, is that could be dangerous.
It is.
Because, and I'll reference this one. Do you remember the brand back in school, Hype?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
I remember
Listen,
Do you remember,
I
like,
used to love Hype.
Do you remember the chokehold that had over
Yeah.
in secondary school? You wanted the
Jumper,
tie-dye bag,
yeah, I wanted
the tie-dye
everything.
jumper, the tie-dye everything was Hype. And basically, it turns out that's a UK designer. He was like some kid, he set it up, and then like obviously he's run it for his whole time. But they print in-house and everything. So they do it all in-house. So it's a really cool kind of story. And it kind of has this chokehold over the secondary school. But it doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I'm thinking like, if you set yourself this demographic of like these young kids, once those young kids get older, the next young kids, they're going to want something new. Like, no one's wearing Hype now, they're wearing Corteiz. But actually, the kids before, in my time, would have been wearing Hype.
Yeah, of course.
So now I'm almost like, should you actually expand, turn into a fashion house, and then actually you start to go, okay, we're going to do higher pieces, we're going to do these kind of pieces now, we're moving into expansion into different textiles, different fabrics, different silhouettes.
Even having some high quality pieces that, let's say for example, the older lot might want to buy but don't have to run around for. Do you know what I mean? And for me, another thing is, if they are going to do this whole accessibility thing, especially for the older lot, they need to not have the whole drop with a password. People want to buy stuff when they want to buy stuff. That whole waiting on a drop, waiting on a password to come in your email, I won't even lie, like I'm not 30, but that stuff annoys me sometimes. I'll be wanting to buy something from Corteiz, but I'm here waiting on my email for a password to enter the store before I want to. By the time I get in the store, I'm like, yo, I can't be bothered anymore. But there are diehard people waiting for these things.
Like, funny enough, talking about passwords. So I was always thinking, when he did this collaboration with Nike and for the trainers, I always thought Nike are going to be like, look, we need to make it accessible. Drop your act. It's silly with these passwords and stuff. Tell me why. My friend who has bought the pink Nike MX95s, which have a little pink like air bubble at the bottom, basically.
So adorable.
And it's a green shoe, I'm pretty sure. She had to do 7 different tests to get these trainers. To actually like buy them. And the tests were, like the "Are you a robot?"
Oh, I hate
7 of those. I get stumped on the find the bicycles, find the traffic lights. I'm always like, yeah, I've clicked the images, but like there's a bit of a corner of one. Does that count? Yeah, it does. Is it legal? Is it not? And so she had to go through 7 of these tests to get these trainers.
And by the time you do that, you never know if the whole thing... guys, I told you, I put it in my basket. I mean, my bad for taking it out. But put it in, 2 seconds, I refresh the page, gone. The whole thing, every size.
But I would never.
Insane.
I literally, if I saw there was 7 tests, I'd be like, you're a fool.
Yeah,
you're acting silly.
Not everybody's got that patience.
Like, I want the trainer. I'd like to rep the trainer. I am not repping 7 Am I a Robot test.
Another thing that's annoying is that you want to rep the trainer and you might want to just go buy the trainer, but you've got so many people who want to do this whole reselling thing. So then they're buying more than one of the trainer to just resell at a ridiculous price later on. And it's very annoying because you don't actually get to represent the brands you love these days because of stuff like reselling.
There's only 6,000 of these trainers made, which even for Nike, I was like, this is small. And actually... did they expect it to be a win? If they're only going to put 6,000 trainers into production, did they think it might have been a flop?
No.
I know it's Corteiz, but why?
Because they don't want it to be mass production.
With a brand with this chokehold, why would you only make 6,000?
Yeah, but I feel like that's true to the brand though.
Because they never do a lot of pieces. You have to remember, they're very... And the 6,000 is a lot for Corteiz. I'm actually surprised, personally.
For Corteiz, yeah, but not for Nike. And that's the team up. I'm wondering where like actually Nike come into this, if that makes sense. Because actually,
Nike they're just gonna make profit off that Air Max 95. That is a worldwide famous shoe. It gets spoken about in songs, 110s. Like it's a shoe that is literally like, I want to say made for the culture. Like
just did that pop up in London about the Air Max. It was like Air Max Day and stuff. But I mean,
Air Max Day.
Maybe they're gonna plan lots more collaborations. Yeah, maybe that's the point. Maybe there's a series.
I'm hoping so.
But
I need more stuff.
Them releasing 6K definitely true to both brands because like doing exclusive things like that anyway. They started off with the Huarache back in the day. I remember because I used to be saying,
I used to love Huaraches. Don't play with it.
what I did to get them Huaraches, I can't even say.
Were you in a raffle and stuff? What did you do?
You was in a raffle.
Chelsea was crazy back then. But would we say that Corteiz is for the culture? And then what does that now mean for British streetwear and how it's being taken globally?
I think I would say like Corteiz is for the culture, but in order to reach mass production, in order to see themselves in places like to be worn by heavy designers, people with a big influence, they need to start tailoring some of their pieces, like we were talking about in terms of even age range, age groups, starting to tailor their brand to those kind of groups and ages, or having a piece of their brand that tailors to them. Not like I said before, not everyone's going to be running for a Bolo Exchange, and then not everyone's going to also be wearing their carpenter pants when they're seeing 14-year-olds wearing it and running around the street. So do you know what I mean? So they kind of do need to diversify, having some luxury pieces to engage a different type of audience. But if not, I do think they're for the culture, but they could be for the mass.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you said it in one. Like, what? Like,
I did. I kind of just...
Everything I was going to... Words.
Word.
Yeah.
Cool. No.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with what you said as well, man.
Yeah.
I say, obviously, with the luxury pieces, like the... I always forget the name of the leather jacket,
the jacket,
man.
the big...
Is it the skydive jacket?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I have
That's
seen
what it's
it in
called.
person. And
Cool,
it's
like...
gorgeous.
Exactly, but the only thing is, they priced out a lot of people out, like... Even though it's meant to be luxury, but geez, $750.
Yeah,
Lord of mercy, that's a lot of people's rent. You know what I'm saying?
I would have paid.
I'm spending that on jacket.
That's a goose. And then you have to. This is where I said about being mass. Someone will see the goose for $850, see Corteiz jacket for $750, and sit there and really weigh up their options. They should, if the brand was where it needed to be, it'd be like, nah, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Whereas you see people with gooses all the
He's putting
time.
it on that level now.
No, don't get me wrong. I can see him
Finally.
really trying to push it to that level, and that's why I say he will be for the mass soon
Yeah,
enough.
but
You
it's
know.
like, you can't have pieces here that are like, let's say, max like 60 to 250, and then you just jump straight to 750. It's like,
what's going on here?
You got to choose.
Prepare me for that, G. Yeah, like, don't just take me all the way there.
But then that shows you someone who was like a committed follower or fan. You might have been disappointed by that drop, wanting to get the jacket and then being like, because that's what I say about the target audience. His 15 and 16-year-olds don't have 750.
No, they're not.
They got 750 to buy that jacket.
They might then say, "Fuck you, fuck that brand."
Where are you?
That might. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's some energy, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's some energy, goddamn.
But like, I think if you're gonna do that, and like, let's say I've been 14, loved the brand, always been buying all the stuff, saved up, and then this guy released a jacket for $750, and only like the rappers and only the artists who get given it, and you'd be like, you've lost yourself.
Yeah.
I know. I gotta post the other side.
Fair enough.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, man.
All the energy.